Sometimes, if you listen really hard, you can almost hear it.
Our first ever instant star is...
You're it, girl. You're the real thing.
That moment your life changes.
It's about a girl who is just about to fly off and see the world.
Forever.
Jude Harrison!
Welcome, everyone, to The Breakdown, an Instant Star Rewatch podcast. I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Sam. Hello.
Hello.
And today, we are recapping episode 104, Hey Sister. What were your thoughts, initial thoughts on the episode?
You know, it was really interesting. This time I actually had to watch it twice because I went in thinking, I remember it being a very, in a way, Sadie heavy episode. And it was, and I was so focused on that, analyzing it, that I know I missed some stuff. And so I went back and watched it. And I didn't like it this much this time around as much as I did the first time.
Yeah.
Just because of things we'll talk about later. But it made me appreciate other characters more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, obviously we'll get into the recap, but I actually found it hard to recap. I want to say that it's a simple episode, and I don't mean that it's boring, but I feel like there's less to analyze because what you see is what you get, maybe.
Right. Yeah,
my notes, I was like, I don't really have a lot. But...
No, I don't at all. I'm doing my notes this time around, I was like, this is going to be a very short recap because it's very basic. This is what you see is what you get.
Yeah. Well, the original air date was February 6th, 2005, or if you're in the US, July 15th. And the official synopsis is... When Jude plays her new song for the radio and gets some very bad reactions, Tommy threatens to quit. Jude doesn't want that to happen, so she insists that they work on a new hit single, alone, at her parents' country house. Tommy reluctantly agrees, so Jude and Tommy find themselves connecting over more than just the music. Things are going well until Jude's hot older sister Sadie shows up and starts flirting with Tommy, leading to a disastrous fight. What was the Amazon recap?
The record company freaks out when Jude plays her new song for the radio, Powers That Be, and gets some very negative reactions. Tommy's so disappointed in himself that he even threatens to quit. I'm like, so very different.
How can they be so different? There we go.
I don't know. Mine didn't even... It touched the first 5 minutes, and that was it.
Amazon Prime is like, you have to watch the episode to understand.
Yes.
Well, what was your recap?
My recap was... I really didn't like Jude in this episode, so that was a big thing for me. I just found her
on that.
I just found her whiny and entitled and jealous. And I was just like, I don't know if it's because of things I'm going through, but I'm like, I can't deal right now. So, but I found, so once again, her single is not, nobody really like a single. they pull up Eden again, and she's feeling annoyed and kind of pissy because Eden's single is going to kill, nobody likes hers, and so it gets back to Georgia and EJ, and they all recommend a new single, and that they have to beat Eden to the radios with it. And so that's how the working vacation comes about. And then they spend not even really the weekend, like a day.
Yeah.
A few hours at her parents' farmhouse, working on a new song. Jamie and Kat get lost in the woods. That comes up later. And then they show up. Sadie shows up. Some fighting happens. And then they all go home after some stuff happens.
That's a good recap.
That's kind of what happens.
Yeah, I've got obviously very similar. Jude struggles to get airplay on the radio with I'm in love with my guitar. Let's be honest.
I'm not shocked.
And also, she's playing it acoustic she's playing it acoustic, but the song is not acoustic.
No.
The radio programmers say that her sound doesn't fit the radio sound, unlike Eden, whose new song is doing really well. Georgia stresses about this, so she suggests her and Tommy write a new song, and Jude discovers that Tommy is quitting and Jude will have a new producer. Meanwhile, Stuart comes clean to Sadie about the note in his bag, saying it's a joke. We'll get into that later. Sadie appears to believe him. Jude gets the idea to go to her family farm for the weekend with Tommy, and she convinces him that if they write a killer new song, Tommy will have to stay at G Major. Kat and Jamie agree to go to the farm as chaperones. Sadie performs on her debate team at school, and Stuart bumps into a vet in the hallway. Sadie catches them talking and realizes he was lying about the joke. She makes a passionate speech during the debate, which is directed at her dad, and runs off to the farm to escape. Meanwhile, again, Kat and Jamie break down on the way to the farm. I want to dive into that a little bit more. Which means Jude and Tommy are there all alone. They get to work on their new song, which brings them closer together, and just as things are heating up, Sadie arrives and ruins the moment. Jude and Sadie fight because Jude thinks she came to the farm for Tommy. Despite Sadie saying she didn't come for Tommy, Sadie and Tommy now get closer that she's there. Jude and Tommy continue working on the song, but the song seems to be taking a different shape now that Sadie is in eyesight for inspiration. Meanwhile, Kat and Jamie end up walking to Jude's farm, where Jamie declares his love for Jude. Jude and Sadie fight again over Tommy. Tommy goes to console Sadie, which I would love to deep dive into at some point.
Yes, please.
And she tells him about her dad's affair. They end up kissing. Cool. And Jude catches them. Jude finishes the song by herself and ends up fighting with Tommy. She's fought with everyone so far. Who lets her know that it's important to take care of family. Kat and Jamie arrive just as Jude announces that they're leaving. Georgia approves of the new song, and Tommy agrees to stay at G Major. Sadie keeps her dad's secret again.
So much better than mine.
Yours was just more concise.
Yes.
Well, to me, I feel like the theme of this episode has changed because the previous 3 episodes were all about like musical integrity. This episode, I just feel like it's about sisterhood and family and not letting anything get in the way of it. What did you have?
I had jealousy and toxicity caused by secrets, but I think you're definitely right. I think it's more like a sisterhood and family than anything else.
No, I like the jealousy, toxicity. I didn't even think about that. It's so interesting having two different opinions.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into our likes and dislikes. What were your likes?
The horses. I love horses.
I didn't even think about the horses.
I love horses. Sadie wanting to protect Jude. I love how when she says, I came up here to tell her about Dad, but I lost my courage. And then she was like, I used to beat up the bullies that was making fun of her and this and that. I'm just like, my big sister heart. And of course the wardrobes and makeup.
Yes.
Always. It was, like we were saying with the simplicity of the episode, it was a lot to really analyze.
Yeah.
Because I think so much was said and shown, but in a way, so much wasn't said and shown.
Yeah.
That you really have to analyze it to get it.
Yeah.
And so it was hard to pick up on little things like likes and dislikes and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a few likes. Sadie's car. I always wanted that car when I was younger.
Yes.
And Jude's farmhouse as well. Oh my God, that's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know where they filmed that.
I do too.
I loved Jude getting a bit possessive over Tommy, where she's like, Tommy, you're mine. That was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Such like a teenage attitude to have.
Yes.
And I really liked Jude and Tommy's chemistry, where Tommy says the attraction, obvious, like before Sadie arrives.
Yes.
You can see that it's not just like a working relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any dislikes?
I did.
I had two.
I had Yvette. I don't like her. I kind of want to throw her across the room.
Yeah.
I actually had Jude's attitude. I just felt like she was very possessive and, like I said earlier, whiny. And the big thing that set me off with just being anti-Jude this episode is how she's done it before and it never really bothered me. But this time, seeing that Tommy was struggling and wanting to like kind of back off, she just like calls him up while he's working and expects him to take the call and talk to her. And yeah. I would be like, bitch, please. But
dude, I'm working.
Yeah. Like, let me breathe. I'm working. I do have other artists besides you. And then, even though I don't ship them at all, and I never understood how people could or would or whatever, the Sadie Tommy relationship and the kiss in this just seemed very like rushed to me. It went from like zero non-existent to like, oh my God, they had the horses in common and he noticed how pretty Sadie is and she can ride and win. And I'm like, where did that come from?
Actually, I would like to add that to my what the fuck moments, which we'll get into.
Yes.
In 1 second, I'm going to add that to my list.
Yes, I am too, actually.
I did not think of that until this second. Well, I had 2 dislikes. The song was one of my dislikes. The song, and we'll get into the song rating, but the song, it's better than I'm in Love with My Guitar. And I used to love it when I was younger, but as a 30-year-old, I'm now listening to the song and I'm just like, it's just, It's very loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like the song, and I didn't like Tommy playing both girls.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously more than just a working relationship with Jude. But then her hot older sister arrives, and he's like, oh, cool, someone else to flirt with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy.
And that's coming from someone who loves Tommy.
Yes. From two people who love Tommy.
Yes.
Because let's be honest, we love Tommy.
I also like, this has only just come to me as well. I also didn't really like the Jamie and Kat storyline. Like, I understand that you had to deviate from the farm, so it wasn't just like one continuous location.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it was just a kind of random segue. Although we did learn that Jamie is in love with Jude, so that will play into the future episodes.
Yeah. We'll get to the Jamie and Kat thing, but that comes back up later.
Okay. Did you have any funnies?
Just how Jude called it a working vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, that's not even a working vacation. That's just another excuse to hang out with Tommy.
Yep.
And this time you went and got your sister to come along, so you're really screwed.
Yeah. And she's dressed in little hot pants and crop top. Yeah. Well, my funnies was the dog is back.
Yes, the dog is back.
I really want to know what happened to the dog.
That poor dog.
And my only other funny is another thing that's back is Jamie's blue hair.
Yes.
I feel like maybe they shot episode 2 and then episode 4 because the shade of blue is kind of the same. And then episode 3, maybe they shot it afterwards and it's faded.
Right.
Or maybe it's just the light. I don't know.
Well, and I know that
I'm fixated on the hair.
I think they may have, because I can't think of the actress's name, and that's really bad. I'm bad with names. I just call them by the character. But Kat.
Oh, Barbara.
Yeah, Barbara. How she wasn't in the previous episode.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like line up the dates in my head. I don't even know if this is around the same time. But she did 2 parts of a Degrassi show, but this Degrassi show could have been like way years ago. I don't know what year the Degrassi episode was filmed, but it may have been because of how she was out of town. Or she could have been gone doing something else. And so maybe they were shooting around her schedule.
Yeah. Possibly.
And so they had to do what they could when she was in town and then when she wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just fixated on the blue hair because
I love his blue hair. I wish he kept his blue hair.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden it never comes back. So
no, it just disappears.
The blue hair has gone to the same place as Jude's dog.
Yes.
They're there together.
The sad place where it just disappears.
Okay, so my what the fuck moments. I thought I would have more for this episode. I only had one until I just added my second one, but now I have 2. So my first one is, why would Jude have to write a whole new song for radio play? Surely she would already have some other hits. Like, she's not a brand new singer, songwriter. She wouldn't necessarily have to write a completely new song when she could just like dig out her journal and But then you wouldn't have an episode, I know. But it's like, okay, so all my other songs are crap, so I have to go and write a brand new song.
Yes.
And then my other what the fuck was Tommy and Sadie how could he go and console Sadie instead of Jude? Like, he doesn't even really know
Right.
Sadie.
Like, they've had no interaction in any of the episodes up until now.
No. So he's going to console someone's stranger sister, and then they end up making out because there's horses and it's pretty outside. So weird. What were your what the fuck moments?
So I literally wrote down, why the fuck are Jamie and Kat even in this episode?
Yes, chaperones, really.
I don't know if it's just because, and I'm trying very hard not to let it be this, but I don't know if it's because I know it's coming or if it's just this obvious this time around. But to me, it's very obvious that Kat likes Jamie.
I haven't really thought about that yet. Jamie annoys me with with how much he likes Jude, which probably clouds my judgment about everything else.
And I'm just like, I'm trying to find one redeeming quality in Jamie right now because of what you just said.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. And so maybe that's my brain trying to use the Kat.
Like when Jamie's like, I thought I could help write the song. And I'm like, what?
And I'm like, again, what the fuck? Who's this? Oh God, he drives me crazy.
I do love the Chris Turner and Tim like chemistry though. They play off each other really well.
Yeah. It's so funny because like as much as I hate Jamie, I love Chris Turner.
Yeah.
He just cracks me up.
And again, like we're pretending like we haven't seen other episodes, but Jamie does redeem himself.
Yes.
It just takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Kat and Jamie storyline, it was there to serve a purpose. Like, we learn that, like, Jamie finally admits that he's in love with Jude.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it was just kind of annoying, kind of cutting to them, breaking down, walking in a forest. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I understand why it was there. It was just like, I would have rather have seen more of, like, Sadie's debate or something.
Anything.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, one of my favorite quotes does come from the Jamie and Kat storyline. So
nice. And then I just wrote down "saw me." I'm like, I don't. It's too. If you're gonna go that way, build it up. Don't go for 3 episodes with no interaction, except for the sisters talking back and forth, maybe like once. They fight over him like what 2-3 times.
Yeah. Have Sadie and Tommy even met yet?
I don't think so. That's
they were at the photo shoot for 102.
That's right.
But
so they have met, I guess.
And then Darius's party, I guess. Sadie peeped on his shoe.
That's a great way. That's a great lead up to a relationship.
Oh. But I guess Sorry, you go.
I just, even with having met and interacting, it just seems really rushed to me and still even kind of out of nowhere. Like, we've seen this series how many times now, and so we knew it was coming, and still, even to me, I'm like, this is so out of nowhere.
I guess, yeah, I agree. I guess what they did do when Jude and Tommy got to the farm is they teased Tommy's interest in Sadie because he was like looking at all the family photos.
Mm-hmm.
And Jude was like, what's your sudden interest in Sadie? Yes, it's sudden.
Yes. That's about the only line in this whole episode that makes sense.
But then I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here. Sadie has had that kind of boy band crush on Tommy for her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if a hot guy from a boy band walked up to me and there were pretty horses behind me, I probably wouldn't mind him kissing me either.
No, I mean, at least with Sadie, it makes sense because we know she was into like Boys Attack, and we know she was a fan of the boy bands and this and that, and you can tell she's that very like into the popular music and stuff. So, but I'm just like, for 4 episodes, it's shown this relationship with Jude and Tommy, and yes, it's been very hot and cold, but it's had more in depth and lead up. Unless I guess that's part of what they wanted for this Sadie and Tommy, is this sudden somebody can swoop in and just catch your interest like that.
Yeah, and I guess they couldn't really go anywhere with the Jude and Tommy relationship.
Yeah.
So that had to be somebody else, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. Can we also just, maybe this should be in the what the fuck moments as well. It's just come to me. Jude and Tommy argue, and then by the end of the episode, like, we haven't seen them apologize to each other. But at the end, they're like, despite the drama, I like making music with you.
Yeah, they're all like happy-go-lucky dance.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't get you two.
And Tommy's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay. Cool. It's like,
yeah, woohoo. That last weekend wasn't just obvious and awkward as hell.
Yeah, like the fight didn't happen. Whatever. I didn't kiss your sister.
I didn't kiss your sister. You didn't fight over me. No.
I'd love to know who your heroes and villains were. I think we're going to disagree.
I still don't have a hero.
Really?
I was like, I mean, actually, I kind of do. This is going to make me sound so weird. I guess my hero would be Tommy.
He's my villain.
Really?
Yeah.
But I mean, he could also very easily be the villain of this episode.
I never thought I would put Tommy as a villain, but he is the villain for me.
I'm about to shock you. I put Jude as my villain.
No.
I know. I felt so bad writing that down. I was like, I can't believe I'm writing this.
Well, my hero is Sadie.
Oh.
Because I truly believe she was coming to tell Jude about her dad's affair.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. I think that, so yeah, Sadie would be my hero. And I would change my villain to Tommy.
Oh, you don't have to.
No, I would. I think I'm just, my annoyed is with Jude.
Because, like, yes, I do think Sadie was coming to tell Jude about the affair. But then when she got there, she was like, oh, Tommy's here. And just kind of got caught up in it. Whereas Tommy, like, whatever anybody says, he was flirting with Jude when they were writing the song.
Yeah.
Like, the attraction, obvious, like, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as Sadie arrived, he was just playing both girls. And the end fight between Tommy and Jude, where he's like, you know, all Sadie ever wanted is a sister. I feel like that was kind of gaslighting Jude.
Yes.
Like she'd invented the fact that he was flirting with her and that Tommy was just trying to cover up the fact that he just made out with her sister.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Sadie's upset. She just wants a sister. It's like, no, you just went and made out with her randomly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tommy is my villain, and I hope to God he's not my villain again, but he probably will be.
Yeah, he can be quite a villain. I know there's a few episodes where I'm gonna name him a villain, and I'm like, I'm not ready for that.
I know. Yeah. Should we get into the song? Oh yeah, sorry, you go.
No, that makes more sense. I think I'm just a lot of it was I was just annoyed with Jude.
Mm.
So I think that's why.
It's so interesting, isn't it, watching it like as old as we are now? Because
Yeah.
when I watched it back in the day, I didn't even know what gaslighting was, and I was like, oh, Tommy cares about Jude and Sadie, like
Yeah.
being so nice. And now I'm like, Tommy,
You're being
stop,
a dick.
yeah, stop telling Jude that she's just imagined everything.
Yes. So yeah, let's do the song.
So my initial song review was 4 out of 10. I then upgraded it to 5 out of 10 because I do like it. It's just not as good as some of the other season 1 songs.
Right. That's interesting. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just like, it's too loud. It's too. And then, like, part at the end where she does the back and forth, I'm like, I know. And I'm just. Like you said, it's good, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's like an
It's just-
upgrade from I'm in love with my guitar.
Yes.
Slightly.
Yes.
I actually preferred it when it was just them singing it acoustic.
Hmm.
But then it wouldn't have been a good radio song.
Right.
Yeah. Did you have anything for pop culture?
Just when the dad talks about that EP, I can't for the life of me remember the name of it now.
Yeah, I've got that too.
And then the little bit about the horses that
What's the
Sadie,
horses?
that Sadie and Tommy talk about, just like the type of horses and things
I
like
missed
that.
that and went entirely over my head. Well, for pop culture, I've got the episode title because, as everyone knows, every episode is after a different song. So, Hey Sister is from a song called Hey Sister by DOA, released in 1992. Have you heard of DOA? I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm just behind with the times. Have you heard
I
the
only
song?
heard Hey Sister. That's like the only song I know of them. But
I need to listen to it. I thought it was a Beatles song, to be honest. Oh no, that's Hey Jude.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm just embarrassing myself now. And then, yeah, Jude's dad says Dylan 67.
Mm-hmm.
The record itself was called The Basement Tapes. It took some digging to find that. So the record was actually called The Basement Tapes, and it was the 16th album by Bob Dylan, released in 1975.
That's cool because that's kind of like something Alex did. She
Yeah, she
did
released
the
Basement recordings.
the basement recordings.
I love those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get into... Yeah, this episode didn't have a lot of pop culture.
No.
Like I said, it was very kind of to the point, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, am I missing things?
No, there just wasn't a lot there.
Okay. I have 3 favorite quotes. Do you have any?
Yes.
Okay, you go.
Writing a song is like writing a story.
Ah, okay.
And then I love when he tells both of the sisters to shut up.
Yeah.
And then this is actually from Sadie's debate when she's like, take any male and genetically modifying, he's still a dog.
Yeah, I didn't think about that one. Yeah.
Those were mine.
I've got a sandwich in a previous life. Now it's just part of the fragile ecosystem I like to call Jamesica.
James, yes.
Oh, and how about last Christmas when you went vegan for a week and we all had to eat tofurkey? As an ex-vegan, I'm like, hey, tofurkey is amazing. And then my last one, despite the drama, I really like making music with you.
Oh.
Now, hashtag iconic. I really struggled to find an iconic moment. Did you have one?
I narrowed it down to 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was really hard. It was on my second time watching it today. And it was either when he told both of them to shut up, or it was the attraction obvious.
Yeah, I had that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most iconic because it's just kind of cementing the storyline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's the most iconic, but it was hard to choose. Like, I was like, this episode just, nothing groundbreaking happened. It was just, yeah.
As much as I like this episode, and it's still one of those ones that now it's not so much one of my favorites, but I still like it. It's very much a filler episode.
Yeah.
That I feel like that they had to get out and put out because of like the Sadie Tommy relationship and things like that. But it's just very much a filler episode.
It is, but I did like how we literally had a change of scenery. Like they were on a farm outdoors. That's something we hadn't seen yet.
Right.
It wasn't just like Jude at school or in the studio. Yeah. Should we do most likely to?
Yes.
Let's spin the wheel. Okay. Who is most likely to win at Pictionary? Pictionary, isn't that the game where someone has to draw a picture in a set amount of time and you have to guess what it is? So which character would win at that? I literally have no idea.
I have one, but we haven't. Well, I guess I could say him because we have met him.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot about him yet, but we have met him. I'm gonna say Darius.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say Cat.
Cat would be good.
Yeah. But yeah, Darius, he's very like business-like, and he'd be one of those annoying people that would just win at all the games.
Yes.
Because he wins at life.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the idea, Darius. Amazing. Well, that is our recap of episode 104. A little bit shorter today because, like we said, it's just a very kind of normal episode. Nothing groundbreaking happens. But next week, we are recapping 105, which I think is called You Can't Always Get What You Want.
I believe.
Yeah. And I think we get to see the introduction of a new character.
Yes.
Can't wait for both of our opinions on this new character. Yeah. But thanks everyone for listening, and thanks for your patience with the delay in this recap. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Breakdown, an Instant Star Rewatch podcast. The Breakdown was produced by me, Chloe, and Neon Network Production. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and listen to all episodes of The Breakdown on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. See you next time.